What if I told you that the moment you open your mouth about your dreams, you begin to kill them? Most people think sharing their goals with others is exciting. It feels good. It feels like support. It feels like accountability. But science, and one man's devastating story, will prove to you today that telling people your goals is one of the most dangerous things you can do. This is the story of Salim, a man who had everything planned, a man who told everyone, and a man who lost it all, not to failure, but to words. Salim was 27 years old, the kind of young man who burned with ambition. He grew up in a small apartment with his mother and two younger sisters. His father had left when he was 12. From that day forward, Salim made himself a silent promise. One day, I will build something that makes them proud. He worked in a warehouse during the day, stacking boxes, sweating under fluorescent lights. But at night, Salim had a plan. He had been saving for 3 years. Carefully, secretly, he had studied business. He had researched a small bakery he wanted to open in his neighborhood, a place where the smell of fresh bread would fill the street every morning. He had the location. He had the menu. He had the numbers. All he needed was to take the first step. One Thursday evening, he came home glowing. His mother noticed immediately. "Salim, why are you smiling like that?" And that's when he made the mistake that would cost him everything. He sat down at the dinner table, and he told them. He told his mother. He told his sisters. He called his best friend Omar. He posted on his phone group. He told his coworkers. Within 48 hours, everyone in his life knew. Salim was going to open a bakery. The reactions came flooding in. His mother clapped her hands and said, "Oh, Salim, my son, the business owner." Omar laughed warmly and said, "Brother, I always knew you had it in you." His co-workers slapped him on the back. "Big man, look at you. A bakery. Incredible." And Salim felt amazing. He walked taller. He smiled wider. He felt like it had already happened. And that, right there, was the beginning of the end. Here is what most people do not understand about the human brain. When you tell someone your goal and they celebrate you for it, your brain receives a small shot of dopamine, the same chemical released when you actually achieve something. Your brain cannot fully tell the difference between talking about doing something and doing it. So what happens? The urgency fades. The hunger softens. The fire, just slightly, goes out. Then the opinion started. His uncle called 2 days later. "Salim, a bakery? In this economy? Do you know how many bakeries close in the first year? 80%. I'm just being honest with you because I love you." His co-worker Tarek said, "Bro, no offense, but do you even know how to bake? Like, professionally." His mother, who had celebrated first, now whispered at night, "Maybe wait one more year. Save more. Be sure." And Omar said the most painful thing of all. "Salim, I support you. But have you thought about whether this is really you? You've always been more of a laid-back guy. One by one, word by word, person by person, they didn't attack him. They didn't hate him. They just talked. And their words were tiny needles, each one so small you could barely feel it. But together, they stitched a net of doubt so heavy that Salim could no longer fly. 6 months passed. Salim still had his savings. He still had his plan. He still had his notes in a folder on his phone. But he no longer talked about it, because talking about it brought questions he couldn't answer, looks he couldn't handle, doubts he didn't have the energy to fight. So he went quiet. And in his silence, he made a decision, not with courage, but with exhaustion. Maybe next year. Next year became the year after. The year after became when the time is right. When the time is right became never. Salim is 34 now. He still works at the warehouse. He doesn't smile the same way anymore. And in his drawer, underneath old bills and forgotten receipts, there is a folder, a business plan, a menu, a location, a dream that was killed, not by failure, not by lack of money, not by lack of talent, but by words. Now let me speak to you directly. When you tell someone your goal, you are seeking something: validation, encouragement, acknowledgement. And the moment you receive it, even a small amount, your brain registers partial reward. The motivation engine loses pressure. But there is something deeper than science here. When you share your dream before it has roots, before it has walls, before it can stand on its own, you expose it to wind. And most people, without meaning harm, are wind. Not enemies, not villains, just people carrying their own fears, their own limitations, their own unfinished stories. When they look at your dream, they don't see your potential. They see their own past failures. They see what they didn't dare to do. And they give you that fear, wrapped in love, wrapped in just being real with you. The most successful people in the world share one quiet habit. They work in silence. They do not announce. They do not perform progress. They do not seek applause for a race not yet run. They simply build. And when they are done, when the bakery is open, when the dream has walls and a roof and a heartbeat, then they let the world see. Because by then, no opinion can touch it. By then, it is real. But this story does not end in that drawer. Last year, Salim's youngest sister Nadia, now 22, came to him late one night. She sat at the same kitchen table and said quietly, "Salim, I want to start something. I have an idea, but I'm scared to tell anyone." Salim looked at her for a long moment. And then he said, "Then don't tell anyone. Not yet. Just start. In secret. Build it until it's strong enough to survive being seen." Then Salim stood up, walked to his room, opened his drawer, pulled out the folder. He read through it. Every page, every number, every dream he had written at 24 years old. And for the first time in 7 years, he felt the fire again. This time, he told no one. He didn't post. He didn't call Omar. He didn't mention it at the warehouse. He simply began. 3 months later, he signed a lease on a small shop. 5 months later, the smell of fresh bread filled the street every morning. He called it Nadia's. And when people asked how he did it, he smiled and said, "I stopped feeding the dream to others. I fed it to myself until it was too strong to be stopped." So today, I want to leave you with this. You have a dream. I know you do. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. Guard it. Protect it. Work on it in the dark. Not because people are evil, but because a seed does not grow in the open air. It grows in the soil, in the dark, in silence, until the day it breaks through the earth and announces itself. Be the seed. Work. Build. Create. Let your results be your announcement. And one day, when your dream has walls and windows and a name on the door, the whole world will see it. And no one's opinion will matter anymore. Because it's already real. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your silence is not weakness. It is strategy. See you in the next one.